Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the J Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Nowakowski, and let's get straight into today's episode. So, this episode, another weekly recap. I told you this is kind of the new format I'm going to be doing. So, today it's going to be NFL and MLB, and I'm going to have another episode. I'm going to record on Monday, so it'll be out Tuesday. And that's going to be the NHL and the NBA. But today I really wanted to talk about the NFL. There wasn't a lot going on, but there was one big thing that happened, and I do want to give my thoughts and opinions on that. And in the MLB, big week. Big week in the MLB, lots to talk about. So, yeah. But before we get started today, I know if you're watching on YouTube, the background is not the normal banners and stuff. It is my dad's game, very little part of my dad's game collection that he has. Pure laziness and procrastination 101. And I'll talk a little bit more on why that is later on, but I think it's a valid excuse. And it's not because I don't love doing this podcast. I really do. I love doing this podcast. So that's not the reason. So don't think that. I'll tell you later on. It's when we talk about the MLB. It'll probably be the last thing I talk about before I end the episode. But let's start off in the NFL. Not a lot's happening. There isn't going to be a lot of NFL recap stuff until the draft, really. And then after the draft, it's going to be, again, very slow until training camp and preseason. And then it's going to be regular season. And then it's going to be off and rolling. And every weekly recap, we're going to talk about what happened on Sunday. And hopefully, and my plan is for that, maybe I will record Monday nights after Monday Night Football just so I can get it out as soon as possible. But this week in the NFL, one thing happened. Julian Edelman retired, Patriots wide receiver, retired from the NFL. After he failed a physical, he failed a physical and the Patriots released him. And then he decided to retire, which I think was the smart move for Julian, for him to do that. There's a lot of debate on Julian Edelman on Hall of Fame or not, and I'll give my own, my 2 cents on that. But, he failed it. There were already question marks because he had a surgery for an injury, and they said, it might go into this upcoming season. He may miss a lot of time, and then he failed a physical. So it's like, what? I mean, I don't know what use he really had to the Patriots at that point of his career. So I think the Patriots were okay with what they were doing. And then Julian Edelman kind of thought in his head about what, do I want to sign with another team and see if another team gives me a chance, or should I just call it quits? And, he did the right thing and called it quits. So, but now let's get into really the main talking point. Is Hall of Fame or not? A lot of people like to do this, right after someone retires, are they Hall of Fame bound? And I like doing it too. But the only issue I have is what happens right after someone retires. Is, he should be in the Hall of Fame right after. I mean, if you listen to sports radio, a lot of people were like, Julian Edelman, Hall of Fame the next day. And I'm like, really? Really? Is he? And then there were some few people that were like, okay, let's not be pity. Let's not put pity on Julian Edelman. Let's look at the numbers. And they were like, okay, I'm going to keep a buck with you. Nah. Really. But a lot of people wanted to play, he just retired, let's get him into the Hall of Fame, which happens a lot. I've done it with a few players that I loved. There's some players I've loved that I'm like, get into the Hall of Fame, but they're not Hall of Fame bound, which is totally okay. But anyway, so Julian Edelman, I think you kind of guys know what my opinion is, but I'm just going to go over. Here are his career stats. 137 games, 620 receptions, 6,822 yards with 36 touchdowns. That is his career numbers in the NFL from 2009 to 2020. The most yards he had he had a 1,000 yard season in 2013, and he got another 1,000 yard season in 2016. And in 2019 he had 1,100 yards. So those were his career stats. But I want to just how about his playoff stats? He had 1,442 yards in the playoffs on 118 receptions with 5 touchdowns in the playoffs. His let's see, the most yards in the playoffs was in 2018, 388. I believe that was the last year when they won the Super Bowl. I am so sorry. That is my cat crying. I let him in for this, but I let him in and now he wants out, but he'll be okay. Anyways, so Julian Edelman, 5 touchdowns in the playoffs. So before I get in before I talk about it, let's look at a very similar player in the NFL, played for the same team, played the same position, and let's look at his stats. Okay? Let's look at his stats. Wes Welker played from 2004 to 2015. Career 175 games, 903 receptions, 9,924 yards, and 50 touchdowns. Now let's look at his playoff stats. Since we looked at, with Edelman, let's go. So he had 88 receptions, 866 yards, 5 touchdowns. And it seems like less playoff games than Edelman. But Wes Welker never won a Super Bowl. Julian, and this is where I get Edelman credit. He won 3 and he won a Super Bowl MVP. Wes Welker did not do that. But Wes Welker has significantly better numbers in every category than Julian Edelman. So, and Wes Welker isn't in the Hall of Fame, if you didn't know that. Wes Welker is not in the Hall of Fame. No, he's not. And he has 3,000 more yards, and he has 14 more touchdowns than Edelman. So for me, I can't put Julian Edelman into the Hall of Fame. I understand people will make the argument of Super Bowls and Super Bowl MVP. But there are players that have won Super Bowls. I mean, maybe not 3, but they've won a good amount of Super Bowls and they're not in the Hall of Fame. So, and it's just those numbers. 6,000 receiving yards. That's not a lot in an NFL career. It really isn't. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, it's really not that much in an NFL career, 6,000. And in my opinion, if Wes Welker can't get in with 9,050 touchdowns, how the hell is Edelman going to get in with 6,036 touchdowns? He has 36 career regular season touchdowns. 36. That's it. That's not a lot. Okay. So let's put it into I'm going to put it into a reference here. I'm going to just real quick, let me search it up. But let's see the receiving touchdown leaders last year. Wide receiver TD leaders. Leaders last season. So Edelman had 36 for his career. Now, year by year, 2020, Davante Adams had 18. 2019, Golladay, 11. Antonio Brown, 15. DeAndre Hopkins, 13. Jordy Nelson, 14. 14, 14, 16, 17, 15, 13. 23, Randy Moss, 2007. So, in one season, Davante Adams, this year's leader, 18 touchdowns. Julian Edelman had 36 in his career, which was 11 years long. That's just to put into reference. And I'm not saying Davante Adams is Hall of Fame bound or anything like that. And I understand they're 2 very different players. But that's just in reference of how little he did get into the end zone. And I will give Edelman credit. He came up with clutch catches all the time. Clutch catches. When the Patriots needed him most in the Super Bowl, he made that catch against Atlanta. So I give him that credit. He made some clutch plays, and when Brady needed him on 3rd down, he came through. But the numbers you can't put him in the Hall of Fame. That's just my opinion, I don't think he gets in. He's definitely not first ballot, but some people are saying, oh, maybe year 6, year 7, they'll give it him in. I don't know if they do. I'm being honest. I don't know if they give it to him. It'll be close. I think it'll come down to a couple of votes with him, because I think some people will play the pity card and be like, well, or they'll play the Super Bowl card. Sorry, not the pity card, the Super Bowl card and Super Bowl MVP card. And then there are going to be people that say, well, look at these stats. Look at the leaders in the NFL right now. Like, he had 36 career touchdowns. Justin Jefferson had 14, I think, in his rookie year, or 12. I don't know. Justin Jefferson had a great rookie season. But like, I just don't see how he can get in any way, shape, or form. That's just my opinion. Comment on this on my Instagram page or on my YouTube, if you disagree or if you agree with me. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it, but that's just my opinion. No way he's Hall of Fame bound. So that's really all that happened in the NFL. Let's get into the MLB. So this week in the MLB was really fun. We're about 2 weeks in. I'm going to talk about some of the teams leading the ways in the division races, because there's some surprises. And then you have, some not surprises, Dodgers Padres series, and some other, let's just go over the week in the MLB. So before I get into kind of the standings and stuff, I want to talk about Thursday was Jackie Robinson Day. If you see on YouTube, I'm wearing the Brooklyn Dodgers hat and the baby blue Brooklyn uniform. The player on the back, Dustin May. Got it. Love Dustin May. So I got that. Wearing that for the video today. But Thursday was Jackie Robinson Day. And 2 years ago, I took Alyssa to the first Dodger game. She'd been to one before, but since we started dating, her first Dodger game, which actually it happened to come on Jackie Robinson Day. The Dodgers played the Reds. It was Puig and Matt Kemp's return to LA, which was really, really cool. And the Dodgers won in extra innings on a Jock Peterson walk-off home run. And, they gave us Jackie Robinson jerseys, and that was really fun. And I have always loved the celebration of Jackie Robinson and what he did. And this year, I watched the movie 42 with Alyssa, which she had never seen before. And I know we talked a little bit about it on the last podcast when we did the baseball movies, but I hadn't watched it in a little while. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So good. I mean, the way they detailed everything and how accurate it was, and Chadwick Boseman, the part he played and how well he played it. It's just such a great movie. And really, if you haven't seen it, or you haven't seen it in a little while, go watch it. You will not be disappointed. You will remember, like, oh my gosh, this movie is so good. I mean, it was such a good movie, and just such an amazing movie. And and sad that Chadwick Boseman's gone now, and he's not with us, but got to watch the movie 42 this year, and then watch the Dodger game. And Jackie broke the color barrier. That's what he did. And his number is retired throughout all of baseball. And when that happened, they said anyone with the number 42 can keep it. But once they retire, no one else is using it. And the last 42 was Mariano Rivera, who retired a couple of years ago. But I just wanted to reflect real quickly on Jackie Robinson Day. Really cool. I love when the MLB does this. I believe they're doing, I think, Lou Gehrig. I think they added Lou Gehrig's Day. His number's not retired throughout all of baseball, but I think it's just a day to celebrate him. Another great entrepreneur, another great ball player who revolutionized baseball. I believe Hank Aaron's going to get one of these days as well. That's got to come. I really do think that's got to come soon. But anyways, Jackie Robinson Day was this week. Seeing everyone wear the number 42, really cool. But anyways, let's get into the actual baseball that took place on the field this week, because we had a lot of great baseball. really great baseball. Really, especially Friday, Saturday with one particular series. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about, but let's just give you an overall standings before we get into who's hot, who's not, all that good stuff. So, first of all, in the NL West, the Dodgers are leading the NL West with a 13-2 record, currently on an 8-game win streak and a 4.5-game lead over the San Francisco Giants, who are 8-6 at the moment. In the NL East, it is the New York Mets leading the division with a 6-4 record. Miami and Philadelphia both a game behind at 7-7. And in the NL Central, it is the Cincinnati Reds with a 9-5 record. But right behind them is the Milwaukee Brewers, who are 8-6. Cardinals 7-7, and then you got Chicago and Pittsburgh slow out the gates. Moving on to the AL, we have the Boston Red Sox 10-4, with Baltimore in second place at 7-8. Tampa and Baltimore tied for second at 7-8. In the AL Central, the Kansas City Royals are leading that division with an 8-5 record. Cleveland a game and a half back at 7-7. And in the AL West, it is a tie between the Los Angeles Angels and the Seattle Mariners, with Oakland a game back from them. So, I mean, when you hear that, you're like, holy cow. And yeah, I mean, I know it's early. It's only 2 weeks in, but to hear some of these Cincinnati, which, I mean, I don't want to say I'm surprised. I did say watch out for Cincinnati, but I think a lot of people were like, "Ooh, Seattle, St. Louis, and Milwaukee," which I think I predicted Milwaukee. I don't really remember what I picked there, but Cincinnati, Boston leading the AL West, and the Yankees currently have the worst record in the American League. They are 5-9, worst record in the American League. So. Watch out. Yankee fans, look away. But yeah, Boston leading, Kansas City leading their division, and the Angels and Mariners atop the AL West. Absolutely crazy, and I'm here for it. I love it. The NL, yeah, it's only really Cincinnati. That's the big surprise. One thing, as I'm looking here at MLB.com, is the run differentials on some of these teams. The New York Mets are leading the division. It's only by a game, but they have a -1 run differential, which they're the only team leading a division with that. And if you're wondering who has the biggest run differential so far this season, look no farther than LA, the Dodgers, +41. And the second closest is the Cincinnati Reds at a +27. So, yeah, Dodgers are getting runs. They're currently on an 8-game win streak, 13-2. We'll get into more about the Dodgers in a little bit. But, let's go over some leaders. Who's hitting the ball well? There's a lot of players. Brandon Nimmo of the Mets, he's batting .471 early on. Your mean Mercedes keeps it up. He keeps it up. He's batting .457. Right behind him, Ronald Acuna Jr., .433. The Dodgers, Justin Turner, .426. And my boy Vlad Jr., he's batting .412 on the year. He's ripping the ball. I've been listening to a lot of Blue Jay games, and he's ripping the ball really, really hard. I believe he's got 5 homers so far on the year. 4 or 5? 5, I think. Is it 5? I'm looking right now. 4. He's got 4. 4 homers for Vlad. Ronald Acuna early on leading the league in homers with 7. Eduardo Escobar and I believe Ryan. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, Ryan Mahome. I don't know how to say that last name. And Wilson Ramos all have 6. But yeah, Acuna, I called him for MVP, and he's kind of looking like it. Which that'd be cool if I predicted the NL MVP. But I know you're like, hey, where's Trout in all of this? Trout's doing well. Don't worry. He's batting Trout's still doing well. He's batting .386 on the year. He's got the Angels in first place in the division. RBIs, that's JD Martinez with 17, and then Acuna and Justin Turner each with 16, which is absolutely crazy, in my opinion. And 8th on that list of RBIs in the whole entire MLB is Zach McKinstry of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He is a rookie. He came up this year. He played a few games actually last year in the shortened season, but wasn't on the playoff roster. And he's been on the roster since day one for the Dodgers this year, and he's been playing really well. He's batting, I think, close to 300 on the year, 13 RBIs, 3 home runs. Hey, put on Rookie of the Year. Get the talk going for Rookie of the Year for Zach McKinstry. But yeah, so those are some of the leaders in the league right now. Ronald Acuna is playing out of his freaking mind. 433, 7 homers, 16 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. So, and you're looking at that, and he is going to be my performer of the week. He had 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 6 walks, a stolen base, batting .464 for the week. So Ronald Acuna Jr., performer of the week. Congratulations for week 2, Ronald Acuna. But lots of good baseball. Because of my job, they allow me to listen to music or have an earbud in while I'm at work. So I've been listening whatever game's on early on. I'm there for that. If it's the Blue Jays, I'm always going to listen to the Blue Jays. If the Blue Jays aren't playing early, I'm going to listen to whoever it is. It's been the Red Sox a lot. It's been the Twins a lot. Red Sox, Twins. Those are a lot of the normal ones. Brewers have had a couple. Cubs. They've all had a few early games, like 10, 11 a.m. And the Orioles have had some as well. But I've been listening to a lot of baseball this year, and it's been really fun to listen to. And I realized as I was going through the stats, I only listed the hitters. Let's go over the pitchers. How about that? We have 5 pitchers leading the league in wins, all with 3. The list includes Connor Brogdon, Anthony. Aaron Savale, Clayton Kershaw, Steven Matz, Yasrom Petit. They all have 3 wins. Early leaders to start the year. You got a ton of guys. There's only So Carlos Rodon, which we'll talk about him in a minute, currently leads the league in ERA with 0. Followed by DeGrom, 0.45, Musgrove, 0.47, Corbin Burns, 0.49 ERAs. Strikeout leader is Tyler Glasnow with 36. Right behind him, Shane Bieber having 35. Saves, Jake McGee of the Giants, former Dodger last year, World Series champion Jake McGee, 6 saves. Complete games, 1. There's been 4 pitchers with 1. Losses, though. We got a couple of guys with 3 losses on the year. Not looking too good. Madison Bumgarner has given up the most runs so far. And let's see. Who's getting up the most home runs? Let's see. Oh, interesting. It is of the Seattle Mariners, Marco Gonzalez, giving up 6 homers early on the season. And Chad Cole, he is leading the league in walks with 15 so far early on in the year. So those are some of the leaders. But like I said, Carlos Rodon, he had a phenomenal game. So last week, I put a question out on my daily sports question, and it was about who was the last pitcher to throw a perfect game. It was Felix Hernandez. That day, Carlos Rodon took a perfect game into the 9th inning with 1 out. He hit the catcher Perez, Indians catcher Perez, on the foot. But he got the final 2 outs and threw the second no-hitter of the year. So Carlos Rodon, second performer of the week. I know last week I did a hitter and pitcher. For me, I'm going to do it again. Acuna, my hitter. Carlos Rodon, performer of the week on the mound. Throwing the no-no. Currently has no ERA. A couple of wins on his belt. And what a great story for Carlos Rodon. Still a young guy, a ton of injury issues, and couldn't stay healthy, and goes out there and throws a no-hitter. took a perfect game into the ninth. I was going to go crazy if he threw a perfect game on the day I asked a question about a perfect game. I would have been insane, but the no-hitter will do. So second no-hitter of the year already. We had Joe Musgrove of the Padres do it last week, and Carlos Rodon this week throwing the no-no for the White Sox, which was really cool. So now this is last, tech MLB play, because the next Dodgers Padres. So if you are an MLB fan and you didn't watch Dodgers Padres Friday or Saturday, you live under a rock, and you should definitely watch on Sunday. This podcast will be out before the game starts. So Dodgers Padres Sunday 1:10, Trevor Bauer versus Blake Snell. But that's not what we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about Friday and Saturday's Dodger Padre games because they were some of the best games of the year. Well, the best game of the year was on Friday, where it was Walker Buehler going for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it was I'm blanking on his name, Weathers. He was making his first career MLB start. Ryan Weathers. He was making his first career MLB start for the Padres, I believe. And so early on, scoring got started. It took a little while. San Diego got a run in the bottom of the second. And that was on a Luis Campusano got hit a single to score Manny Machado. But in the top of the fifth, Luke Raley hit his first career MLB home run to tie the game up at 1. But the lead did not last long, as in the bottom of the fifth, Fernando Tatis just activated off of the IL for the shoulder injury, hit a home run dead center, giving the Padres a 2-1 lead. But the scoring didn't stop there. Top of the sixth, Chris Taylor hit a ground ball to Manny Machado. I believe the Dodgers had first and third. First and third. And Manny Machado makes a great diving stop on a ground ball to Taylor. There were 2 outs, and 1 out, 2 outs. There were 2 outs. And the throw to second was really bad by Machado. It gets past him, and 2 runs come in for the Dodgers. They took a 3-2 lead, top of the sixth. And then Zach McKinstry later that inning struck out swinging, but the ball got past the catcher. And that allowed Chris Taylor to score from third, giving the Dodgers a 4-2 lead. But bottom of the seventh, Fernando Tatis, he grounded into a forced play, where Ha-Seong Kim scored and made it 4-3 for the Padres. And in the top of the eighth, Zach McKinstry, I mentioned him earlier, got a double to give the Dodgers a 5-3 lead. But bottom of the eighth, Jurickson Profar doubled on a line drive to center field, on a line drive, scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the eighth to tie the game up at 5. In the top of the ninth, it was Justin Turner, giving the Dodgers a 1-run lead on a base hit, giving them a 6-5 lead. But in the bottom of the ninth, the Padres came back and scored 1 on an Eric Hosmer base hit, tying the game up at 6. Run was given up. Jansen, the Padres are down to their last strike twice. Machado walked, stole second, and then Hosmer got the base hit with 2 strikes to tie the game up at 6. And the game went into extras. And it went into there was no scoring in the 10th, no scoring in the 11th, and in the 12th, it all derailed. Corey Seager hit a home run to make it 8-6 Dodgers. Zach McKinstry got a base hit, making it 9-6. Luke Raley got a base hit, making 10-6. And David Price hit a sacrifice fly, making it 11-6. And that was the scoring. And the Dodgers, though, the scoring made it look way wider than it was. It was a great, amazing game. I want to give my thoughts on Friday's game. So the Padres, interesting game from them. So in the 4th inning, the Padres had first and second, and I think nobody out. Jurickson Profar batting, and he bunted. and move the runners over. That is a playoff move right there. Like, it was playoff atmosphere Friday and Saturday night at Petco Park for Dodgers Padres. And I don't remember a regular season game with that type of energy. Like, that isn't like in September, October. Like, that is in April, May, June. I don't remember a game like that. So it was amazing. And so Jurickson Profar bunted. That's a playoff move. And but the Padres never did that in extra innings. So in the ninth, the Dodgers didn't score in the top half. The Padres didn't score in the bottom half. Dodgers didn't score in the top of the 10th. Top of the 10th, Dodgers didn't score. Bottom of the 10th, Padres didn't score. Top of the 11th, Dodgers didn't score. Bottom of the 11th, Padres didn't score. And then the 12th, the Dodgers scored all those runs. But why didn't the Padres bunt in the extras? They were doing it in the fourth inning. That's a playoff move. I'm just wondering why they just decided not to do it in extra innings. That's just my only question. Was why they didn't do that. But here's some other thoughts. Tatis had a couple of fielding errors. The Dodgers were up 8-6, and it was a ground ball, and could have been a double play to end the inning. But Tatis kind of dropped the ball on the third or second, and that allowed the huge explosion of an inning to happen. That did. But he did hit the home run. It was his first game back off of the IL. But tensions were high. So like I said, it was a playoff atmosphere, and it was in the bottom of the 10th. Dennis Santana was pitching, and he hit a Padres hitter. I don't remember his name, but him and Santana started kind of barking at each other. And, it was I believe they had the bases loaded with one out. And so tensions were very, very high. And the Padres had second and third and one out, and then he hit him to load the bases. And they both barked at each other, and then the benches cleared, and there was some talking, but Santana calmed down and struck out Tatis to end the bottom of the 10th, and he was fired up after that. And in the 11th, it was David Price coming in and pitching the last two innings of the game, not giving up a run and getting a sacrifice RBI. But David Price did a great job. He had to face Eric Hosmer, who has had a lot of success against him with the winning run on third base, and he struck him out. And yeah, David Price looked freaking amazing. But this game was, if you are a person who isn't into baseball and not a big baseball fan, I encourage you to watch the highlights of this game. And if you have time, watch the full game. It was almost 5 hours long, but it was the best regular season game it's in a long time. In a long, long time. Like, even Padre fans can agree with that. Like, that was an amazing game. And of course, the help of the Dodgers came out on top, but I would still be praising this game if the Dodgers lost. I still would. I promise you that. I still would. But it was such a great game, and they play now 17 more times, including tomorrow. 17 more times. And, I'll get into Saturday's game, but Friday's game, go watch the highlights. It was a freaking amazing game. Amazing game. The score does not tell you what happened in that game. But Saturday, it was Clayton Kershaw's time to take the mound as he went up against the San Diego Padres, facing Yu Darvish, former Dodger, Yu in San Diego now. And Saturday's game, not as high scoring. It was a 2-0 Dodgers victory. They scored in the top of the 5th with a Clayton Kershaw bases loaded walk. And in the top of the 9th, Justin Turner again hitting home run number 5 on the season, giving the Dodgers a little bit of insurance. And it was Victor Gonzalez picking up his first career save, Kershaw the win, Darvish the loss. And this was a nail biter as well, because the Padres. So again, the Padres had only 3 hits on each side. Dodgers did have 1 error. But it was, I'm going to look for what inning it was, but tensions got really high. I think it was the bottom of the 4th. I want to double check. It was the bottom of the 4th. There was some chirping going on between Kershaw and Jerks and Profar. I'm going to talk about that play. Yes. Okay. It was in the bottom of the 4th. So with 2 outs and nobody on 2 strikes, Kershaw threw a fastball down the middle. Jerks and Profar swung really late, and his bat hit Austin Barnes' glove. And at first, the umpire called strike 3. Profar kind of argued his case, and the Padres actually ended up challenging the play. And the umps decided to huddle up, and then they go to replay review and looked at it. And then they overturned the call, saying there's catcher interference. Go take first base. And when that was happening, Kershaw was barking at Profar. I think Profar was barking at Kershaw, and they were both yelling at each other, and they kind of were talking from a distance, but benches didn't really clear there. But here's my sense on the play. I understand his bat hit the glove. The ball was in Austin Barnes' glove by the time he started his fucking swing. It was ridiculous. That ball was in his glove by the time he was starting his swing. And then he hit the glove and did that. And if you look, Kershaw was barking at him, and he said, you can read it. He said, that's bullshit, and you know it. Kershaw looked, from Profar from a distance, he pointed at him. He said, that's bullshit, and you know it. And, no harm done. Kershaw got the Cronenworth to fly out to end the inning. But then, top of the 5th, he comes up with the bases loaded, forces a full count, and gets a walk. Which was the first run of the game, and then Turner added insurance with the home run in the 9th. But, again, playoff atmosphere, tensions, again, very high. Everyone a little bit antsy. Tatis, 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. The strike zone was very inconsistent this game on both sides. It was really inconsistent. It seemed to change like every inning, really. Inconsistent strike zone. But Dodgers win the first 2 in San Diego. They go for the sweep on Sunday, where it's Trevor Bauer versus Blake Snell. Blake Snell, we know what happened with him against the Dodgers. He got pulled out early in that Game 6 of the World Series, and we all know how that ended. Trevor Bauer, he's Trevor Bauer, and he's done some talking already. Him and Manny Machado got beef. I'm excited for that matchup. I'm excited to see the Bauer strut happen. But that's going to be a great game. Sunday, 1:10. Go watch it. 1:10 Pacific time. Go watch it. Dodgers, Padres. It's going to be great. And after this, there's still 16 more games of these two playing each other. I'm so excited. Like, these games have been so good. So good. And the playoff atmosphere in the stadium and the tension, and it, like, every hit seemed to matter. Like, that was a playoff game Friday and Saturday where every base hit, you're like, fuck. Like, in a regular season game against, just a normal regular season game, you give a base hit, you're like, all right, come on, let's get him out. But when it happened in this game, you're like, shit, man, you can't give up hits right now. Come on. Like, really, that's how it was. And so, but Sunday, Bauer versus Snell, 1:10, Dodgers, Padres. Dodgers go for the sweep. Gotta watch it. You guys gotta watch it. It's gonna be a great game. If it's anything like the first 2, it's gonna be a great game. Lots of tension again. We might see the benches clear again. You'll probably see some talking, some strutting, some bat flipping. You'll probably see all of it on tomorrow's game. But here's what I want to end with. So I know I said, procrastination and laziness is why I don't have the banners up in the background if you're seeing this on YouTube. And that is because on Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, MLB The Show 21 dropped. Woo! And so if you pre-ordered a Jackie Robinson edition, you can go play it now. You can buy a Jackie Robinson version on the PlayStation or Xbox store because it's on Xbox now, and play it right now. If you just ordered a normal version of the game, Tuesday midnight Eastern, so technically Monday at 9 p.m. for West Coast. So it was Thursday at 9 p.m. for me, but Tuesday 9 p.m. if you just got a regular version of the game, you can play it. Lots of new features added. You got Stadium Creator. I got my stadium done. I'm happy. I'm happy with it. I think it looks really good. So, I've been playing a lot of Diamond Dynasty, a lot of grinding, opening a bunch of packs. My team's looking solid. I will say, about an hour before I recorded this, I pulled a Mike Trout, which, if you play MLB The Show, he is like, so right now I could sell him for 335,000 stubs, which you could build a new team with that money. I'm not going to sell him because he's Mike freaking Trout. I've had some really lucky pulls. I pulled Manny Machado night one. The version of the game I got, I was able to get Hank Aaron. That was just because the version I bought. Roberto Clemente, they gave out for free to everybody. I didn't pull Alyssa because she loves opening packs, and so she was ripping open packs. She pulled Bellinger and Lindor for me. I pulled Kershaw, Liam Hendricks. Those are the diamond players I've pulled. I purchased a couple on the marketplace. I purchased Walker Buehler and Josh Hader. They were going really cheap on the market, so I decided to get some diamond pitching on the mound. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with MLB The Show and the new features, the cross play. Everything they've added has been super amazing and super good. I'm going to tell you right now, it is late at night, but when I'm done recording, I'm going to go play some more because I freaking love MLB The Show. And I can because fuck it. But yeah, I just wanted to say that's, MLB Show 21 came out. If you don't have it yet, I'd buy it. If you like MLB baseball games, it's really fun. I am having a great time this year. I don't know, that's just because I'm pulling good players, but I'm just having fun playing. Because MLB 20, I got really tired of it really fast, and I don't think that's going to be the case here because of everything they've added and the different ways that everything works. I don't think that's going to happen, but I mean, you never know. You never know. But yeah, I've been loving MLB The Show 21 so far. So that's where the procrastination kind of came in for me. But I'm always happy to do podcasts. I'm gonna have another one. I'm gonna record Monday night. It's gonna be NHL and NBA weekly, week and a half ish recap. That'll come out Tuesday morning. This one's gonna drop Sunday morning, hopefully around 8-9 a.m. and get you ready for Dodgers Padres and play some MLB The Show. Watch some Dodgers Padres and enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. And until next time, this has been Joshua Nowakowski of the J Sports Podcast. Peace.